Hey, warriors. So, I want to talk about something that a lot of people probably deal with, but don't know what it might be when it happens. And that's spinal memory. Because, there are things that our minds forget, but our bodies never do. Okay. And the spine is where a lot of that remembering lives. Okay. So spinal memory. It's not mystical, in the way that people try to sensationalize it. It's embodied intelligence is what it is. Okay? When your spine, first of all, let me put it to you this way. Your spine is the main communication highway between your brain, your nervous system, and your body. Okay? So when experiences happen, especially those ones that are really intense, they don't just get stored as thoughts, they get stored as, patterns of tension, posture, sensation, things like that. Okay. And why the spine holds so much is because the spine is about safety, orientation, support, survival, movement. Do you know what I mean? So when you've lived through, chronic stress, long-term responsibility, emotional suppression, fear, hypervigilance, your body adapts, not intellectually, but physiologically. You know what I mean? And those adaptations, they stay until the body feels safe, enough to release them. You know, okay, so I think it was Sylvia Brown, right, that used to talk about cell memory. I'm pretty sure that it was her that used to talk about it. But and that's kind of where I'm going with this. You will okay, so the people will feel sensations without a story. Do you know what I mean? Like me, for instance. I have an irrational fear of heights with no reason. Do you know what I mean? I've never had any type of accident, you know, from heights. But anyways, okay, so people will often say, and you'll often hear other people say it, they have, like they will often say that they don't remember something, but that their body reacts anyway. Sorry, took me a minute to get that out of my mouth. That is because the body doesn't need a narrative. Do you know what I mean? It remembers the pressure, a threat, bracing, do you know what I mean? Collapse, holding, whatever the case is. That's what spinal memory is. It doesn't need any type of trauma story, I guess. It's about patterns of protection, okay? So during awakening, okay, as people become more conscious, more embodied, the nervous system starts to downshift out of survival, which we all know, okay? When that happens, what was held in the spine can start to surface, okay? And it surfaces as like tingling, warmth, pressure, heaviness, waves of sensation, a sudden posture shift, okay? This isn't necessarily something new happening, it's something old being released. Okay, so why this can feel emotional, I guess we'll say. The spine doesn't just hold physical memory, it holds like an emotional memory and like an emotional tone, I guess, if you want to call it that. You know, that's why you feel things like sadness for no reason, um, peace that just arrived suddenly, um, relief, grief, things that don't, make any sense. It's because the body is finishing something that the mind didn't get to complete. Do you know what I mean? Um, yeah, I mean, and the reason why this starts to come up during awakening is because stillness, pretty much, it shows up during like meditation, grounding, times when you've decided to, quiet down and slow down, those kinds of things. So let me put you this way: when you stop bracing against life, the body finally has like space to speak. Okay, that's what's happening. Um, and it doesn't speak in words. Obviously, it speaks in sensations. Okay. Also, too, if this is happening to you, don't try to force it. That's not going to help anything whatsoever. It's you can't explain it. You okay, don't force. Don't try to analyze it away. Anything like that, it's not going to do you any good. If this is happening with you, you need to listen, you need to soften, you need to allow. Okay? Release happens naturally when the body feels supported. Okay? Um Ancient traditions knew this. Do you know what I mean? They talked about life force, central, channels, inner rivers, things like that, embodied wisdom, but the point was never transcendence. It was inhabitation, being fully here, fully in the body, fully alive. Do you know what I'm saying? So if your spine, we'll say, is speaking to you lately, through sensation or awareness, release, whatever the case is, you're more than likely not imagining it, but you're also not ascending. That's not, I'm not saying you're not ascending. I'm just saying that that's not what this means. This is you integrating. Your body is, remembering that it's safe to let go. Okay? And there's nothing mystical about that, guys. That's just us being human. Okay? I love you.